I have a special guest today, Mikey Conlon. This guy is very motivational. He's pumped me up. I've been following this guy on Instagram for a little while. He's a badass, and he just won an MMA title, which is even more cool to talk about.
Are you ready? Let's talk smack.
Mikey, how you doing, man?
Very good, very, very good. I'm gonna flash this really quick. Yep. Combat night.
Upside down? There we go. Cheers, that's brother. Badass. That's gold, ladies and gentlemen.
Just gonna flash it and put it back down. But yeah, man, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here, bro. I'm very happy to be here.
Any person that could strip gold around their waist and call them a champion is a badass, man, and that's pretty damn cool. But you also are a co-host of a podcast, Two Gloves and a Dub, correct?
Shout out to Two Gloves and the Dub, absolutely.
Hey, go follow them, man. Go follow them. I'm sure you guys are talking some good MMA content on there.
Thank you so much. We have about 30 episodes, 31 episodes done. So it's kind of cool to see how far it's gone.
Yeah, man, starting from one and then seeing the progression when you could look back. I think I have on YouTube, I think I dropped like my 81st video, and looking at number one, it was absolutely shit. So
that's life, my babies. It's all about growth. I love it.
I know that's right. I want to learn a little bit about you. Talk to me about fighting. How did you get started? What type of fighting style are you? All that good stuff.
Okay, we're gonna dive deep. As a kid, as a kid, I was born in New Jersey, and driving up north, my dad we'd drive up, every other summer to go visit our family in New Jersey, and my dad would always tell me and my brother, he'd tell us stories of him fighting, and he was like a superhero to us. It's like, he was knocking these dudes out. This guy was bullying him. He knocked him out. He's drunk at a bar, knocked this guy out. And it's just like, our dad was just invincible. I'm like, man, and it's just like, especially as a kid and even as an adult, like you get to play with your imagination sometimes. And I thought it was really cool. I don't think that's exactly what started it. I got bullied a lot as a kid. Yeah. It's a big motivating factor to build a big platform and then kind of, battle against that one day. Bullying and anti-bullying programs. But man, I was terrified as a kid. My high school experience was a tale of two different experiences. So the first 2 years I was kind of tucking my tail and kind of scared, walking around the halls. And then I joined the wrestling team, gained a little bit of confidence, some brotherhood to kind of back me up. And then I had a fight video go viral my junior year of high school. And then it was honestly, smooth sailing the rest of my high school career. And then I ended up winning prom king. Everything just kind of fell into place.
So you're that guy.
Yeah. So Mikey was
like everybody wanted to be.
Yeah, I guess. I always prided myself on being nice, a kind guy, and loving everyone. And I've stuck to that for the most part over the years, especially into my adulthood. So it's not that it wasn't so likable. I'm absolutely likable because I'm just approachable. I'm kind. I care about a stranger, and I feel like that's rare. And that definitely didn't hurt me winning prom king, I guess. And then it was like Mikey, had a minute clip. I didn't get punched once. I slammed the guy on his head, mounted him, bop, 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 threw a head kick. And then the last part was he shot in a takedown, and the video just got taken down, but I got clips of it. The guy shot a takedown, and I picked him up and slammed him on his head. So it's like there's just something that
it's kind of like that movie Never Back Down.
And honestly, I love that movie too. But it was predetermined. Mikey's going to be in the UFC one day. Yeah. And that turned into a goal for me slowly as the years gone by. Started training jiu-jitsu in 2012, but it wasn't very serious. I didn't think I started taking it serious until maybe 2014. And then when I started taking jiu-jitsu hands-on, I got my blue belt in 6 months and then took a fight a month later.
Oh, damn. So, okay.
That's the start of my amateur career. I've had 7 of those fights, but so bullying and predetermined destinies, I guess it's kind of what high school and childhood did for me. And I was pretty good at fighting growing up. I didn't really catch any problems, to be honest.
So that's your strong background is wrestling and jiu-jitsu.
I'd say that's one of my stronger points, but in every fight I've ever had, minus my last one, I never got to show it.
Mhm.
I mean, I never get to take someone down or grapple them. And then my last fight, 2-3 weeks ago, was nothing but. And it
Yeah,
was,
we're gonna get into that. I have a bunch of questions for that.
was there.
But let's talk about your first pro fight. You win that fight, you go in. Tell me a little bit about that. How were your nerves? Where did the fight take place? I know some fights are, barely anybody in the crowd at like a bowling alley or something.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I can absolutely break it down for you. I'm still an amateur, 7-fight amateur, so I'm working on it. But I like to
Oh,
think
you're still amateur?
I'm an amateur, yeah.
Okay, that's good shit.
Yeah. So I mean, if people think I'm a pro, that's cool too. But when I do turn pro, it's a fresh slate. So
Mhm.
every single fight that I've ever had kind of just doesn't matter. But my first fight ever, it was September 29th, 2014. I did everything wrong, and throughout my fight camps, I've done a lot of things wrong. But this is, I mean, I make weight, and then we're weighing it at a wing house, and it almost seems surreal. And like I didn't feel like I was actually going through with it. I make weight and I eat 10 wings and fries. That's like, you got to think about it like this, like you're essentially simulating death tomorrow, and you're putting wings into your body, wings and fries. It gets better. Later on that night, I went to one of my best friend's house, and I don't know why, but we got stuffed crust pizza. And we ate that. So I'm going into battle the next day with just the worst things in me,
Yeah. Felt
And
sluggish, I'm sure.
I cut from 203 pounds to 170 in my debut.
What is your walking around weight? That's fucking
Right now, I'm like
ridiculous.
75. This is me like a little bit more disciplined, and I fight at 55. So that cut is easy. It's easier the more disciplined I am.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the goal is 145 when I turn pro.
Oh shit. How tall are you?
5'10", 5'11".
Okay, so you're a little bit taller for like a 145 weight class.
45, yeah, I'd definitely be a
Yeah,
little bit
most guys are like maybe 5'7", 5'8".
around there. And I feel a little bit bigger at 55, to be honest.
Oh, I'm sure because you're bigger, you could take on more weight and it distributes better, I'm sure.
But I'm still chasing that, not even like dream physique, but like I just know I can be better, strength wise, performance wise. There's just so much bridging the gap to where I want to be.
Yeah, especially when you dive deep, man, with the way technology is and the way they can really kind of get our diets to an exact science.
Mm.
It's all about mentally being able to do it.
Of course. And I'll tell you what, a meal prep company would help so much. I've used them over the years, but it's definitely pricey. It can be pricey.
Yes.
Free
Yes.
fighters out there. And this is the life we choose. We're not asking for anything specific, but like we choose the life of like suffering. Fighting is suffering. We're constantly suffering. Practice shouldn't be easy. A fight shouldn't be easy. I mean, sometimes it is for people, but everything about this sport is hard. And for me, and against my mom's will, because if we're up to her, I'd be a doctor right now, to be honest. But one day I'm going to be able to tell her, Mom, I'm a plastic surgeon with these hands.
Yeah.
That's the goal. And no, I mean, she doesn't see what I see, and I don't think I can convince her to see it. But we all suffer. And for me, the reason I choose MMA is because it's the absolute hardest thing that I can think of to do.
Oh, one day. Without a doubt. Anybody that says I can do that, bullshit, prove it.
They
Because
can, but they won't.
yeah, when you step into that octagon and you lock that cage door and you're in there by yourself with another man, it's fucking terrifying.
Absolutely. And and like I don't wish that everybody fights, because to be honest, it's your fight or flight. And for trained athletes, whatever you trained in that fight camp, like the thing about MMA is that it shows you exactly what you've put in. It's a reflection of your efforts.
Yes.
And sometimes like you'll get wars, you'll see that, two hard workers, so two people who are ready to put it on the line, two savages, two warriors meet head to head, and that's where you get your wars. That's where you get the back and forth, like the Dan Hooker and Dustin Poirier, or the Joe Walker and Jake. I was watching that last night, dude.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna do a video on the best fights of 2020. Joanna is definitely in there. That fight, oh my God, that was a battle. I think that was the best fight of 2020. Poirier and Dan Hooker were fucking just throwing hands the whole time. I don't even know how it made it out of the any round, bro. They were landing such hard, just dropping them. That's why I think I I'm geeking a little bit because
Oh,
I'm a big fan of both guys. But Poirier has gotten so much better since the first time he fought McGregor, and I cannot wait to see the growth in him because that dude, he could take a punch now.
yes,
I'm
he
not
can.
saying Hooker is, punching like McGregor,
Yeah,
but
but he's not.
man, yeah.
Dude, that for me, that's a 50-50 fight. I actually look at every fight as 50-50, quote unquote. And then the numbers change as the fight goes on. But like having to stand across the cage from a man that put you out in a round and did it with ease, that's kind of hard mentally for Poirier. If he just got to execute, he's got all the skills to do it. He
Yes.
can put McGregor in trouble, especially because he's been more active and he's grown as a martial artist.
Yes.
But he still has to beat that in his head. That guy's put me out 7 years ago. You know?
Yes, yes, and that's the kind of thing. As a fan on the outside looking in, when I'm thinking, MMA fighter, UFC fighter, I'm thinking, man, do these guys are they robots? Do they even have nerves? Because you guys can't show it. Like
Mhm.
you're in an octagon and the guy's chopping at your leg for 15 minutes. You get kicked in your leg and in your knee and in your calf 65 times and you're not showing it on your face. But as soon as the fight's over, you could barely walk. How the hell do you guys process that and take that in and keep fighting?
Oh my gosh. Some people, this is what one of my close friends told me. His name is Vince McGinnis. He's the owner of Kai's in Tampa, in Tampa. But he's like, everybody suffers, but some people don't suffer well.
Yes.
And that shows in a fight, that shows in a weight cut, it shows in the preparation. I think it's something you have to get better at. But also, not everybody thinks the same, and not everybody executes the game plan. There's just so many little intricacies to winning a fight. So many little plug and plays. And in my opinion, I think not only the preparation, like the training, but I think that your social life, your relationships, your finances, everything's got to click somewhat.
Mhm.
And any other outside stress to add to the already mind fuck of a game that's MMA, it's a big mind fuck. It's
Oh
completely,
man, yes.
and I'll get into it, especially with my last fight after being off for 2 years. Having
Oh
to
well,
go through those
I want to
emotions.
get into all of that. I want to ask you about all of that
But I'll
for
tell you
sure.
what, when I first fought, my first fight ever, just to kind of touch up back up on that, I hit mitts and wasn't very impressive mitts, 1-2s, 1-2s cross, it just wasn't very like if someone had a camera on me, like this guy's gonna lose.
Yeah.
But I walked out there and it's like, walked out to my song. I think I started off with picking a song that like everybody in the crowd can like, dance to,
Vibe too. Yeah, get hyped too.
yeah, and then like Mikey Conlon, Jeremy Hole, you ready? You ready? And then like 0 to 100. That's how I can describe it. Just go, And then in that moment, I'm like, it's you or me. It wasn't the cleanest of technique. I didn't knock the guy out, but I was throwing everything. Like I didn't jab once, overhands, hooks, like everything was whiffing. Like if it hit him, you'd hear a thud. If not, it'd be like, oh. Like the crowd was with me. Like I had a strong crowd on my debut. I was spoiled. My first 6 fights, I got to fight in front of my friends and family in my hometown of Tampa. So
I'm a huge Bucks fan, by the way.
oh my gosh, yeah, we've been eating crap for years, man. It's nice.
Yeah, we'll dive into that a little bit if you have some time too.
Of course.
Okay, so you had the crowd on your side on the first fight, and if you're sitting there throwing haymakers and bringing every
Terrified.
all your might into every punch, I'm sure you're absolutely exhausted.
Dude, yeah. I think I might have won all 3 rounds just because I was throwing heavy and walking him down for the most part. But they were just pop shots. It's not like I was throwing like 1, 2, 3, a low kick, or it wasn't like mixing things together. It was more of like shit. Wow. Get away from me. Wow. It was just you or me type of thing, and it's just I don't know. It's funny. It's cool to look back at that because I'm not that anymore, and just to see the growth and 6-7 years of training and then 6-7 fights. I still have a lot to show, man. I still have a long road ahead. It's a marathon. That's what they call it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, was it take like a decade of dedication to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu?
Same thing with MMA. It takes sometimes the decade goes different for different people.
Yeah.
I can be a decade of training in MMA and someone will make it to the UFC. It could be a decade of training in MMA and they're just a journeyman. I know what I want to be and I'm going to set myself up accordingly.
Yeah, most definitely. Joe Rogan, he says it all the time. It takes a decade in the sport to even get comfortable. So,
And
it's
I'm still
it's
not
a
there.
life journey for sure.
But I will say now more than ever, I'm not comfortable, but like I feel like I've placed everything where they need to be in life. Like all the people that are in my life, I'm in the right setting. I have the right mindset. I have all the tools to be successful. Tools that I've had over the last year and a half, 2 years that I haven't utilized. Maybe
Hmm.
tools that I've had this whole time. But I just feel like now I'm more confident than ever that anything that I'm pursuing and anything that I'm doing, like the job will get done.
Yeah.
I'm the one to do the job.
Yes, I agree with that.
Oh,
All right. So after your first fight, going into your second fight, how much more comfortable? I know you lost your second fight in a decision, right? So the fact that you still went all rounds, he wasn't able to make you submit you or knock you out. That's an accomplishment in itself.
it
But
is.
how more comfortable did you feel? And were you still throwing all your might in every punch, or did you relax a little bit more?
This one was weird. So I was scheduled to fight a man named Jesus Diaz, and I think he pulled out because he got injured.
Hmm.
And I had a teammate, and or not a teammate. I guess it was inside the Gracie network. I used to train at Gracie Tampa West. Then Gracie Tampa South had a fighter that pulled out as well. So they matched us together. So I fought like a friend that I trained with for that camp.
Hmm.
So mentally, it didn't click. It was like, oh, it's just gonna be a glorified sparring session. But like, and the other locker room, they're like, we're about to take this kid's head off. We're about to get rid of this kid.
Yeah.
And striking, I felt good. And this kid's good, and it just blows my mind. His name's Eddie Courtright, my
Hmm.
second opponent. I think he was 3-0, 4-0 going into our fight. I was 1-0. So it was definitely a step up in competition. He was a purple belt and I was a blue, if I remember correctly. But he just on like standing up, I felt good. He had a good teep kick, so he kept distance. I was landing 1-2s. I landed a head kick, and I landed a few strikes here and there. But he controlled where the fight went. He took me down and put me in a Darce choke, guillotine. Took my back rear naked. He had a really deep Darce that honestly, like I had the option to tap. And like
Hmm.
when you're in the submission, like it's different. Like when there's something on the line, I think you get a little bit more time to think. Like, am I really just going to give it up right now? Because it happened to me once in wrestling. I was going against a state champ, and I saw him warming up. He's just this is completely to branch off of the second fight, but just kind of like give you perspective. But like this guy was like he was a beefcake. He was muscular. He looked intimidating. He's like warming up. I'm like that guy's 160. He's in my weight class. I'm like, oh, damn. And then we went and he was taking me down and he almost pinned me. And I literally my shoulder because your both shoulders have to touch the mat. And that was the only time I ever sold. That's the only time I ever bitched out. My shoulders on the mat. I'm just like, man, I'm really not going to win this, huh? And I let it go down. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
and I sold. I sold so hard. I don't think I've ever told anybody that. Not even my teammates. There's no way I can be like, hey, sorry, we lost our meet because I gave that up. You
Yeah.
know? But that stuck to me for years.
I'm
And
sure it eats at you still to this day.
what was that?
It
Oh,
eats at you still to this day.
not as much. But when we get to the most recent fight, you'll see the growth in that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All
But
right. So after oh, my bad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
so he had that deep Darce. He had a rear naked. He literally did almost whatever he wanted. Maybe I won the first round, but that wasn't so much of a bummer. But it gave me a lot of confidence because this guy put me in every single
Yes. And you were
out of
able
all
to
of them.
keep going. Yeah. Hell yeah.
And he's a black belt now. So the growth.
But after that second fight, you had a little bit over 2 years of a layoff in between fights.
I don't know why. It's happened a few times. After that fight, 2 year layoff. After my fight in 2018, 2 year layoff. And
Yeah.
it's not like I'm getting a ruptured Achilles tendon. It's not like I'm having a career changing injury. It's and I guess we can not even trademark it, but like just start like this as a thing. But it's a mental injury. Your
Hmm.
mind's got to be there. If you don't want to fight, fighters fight. That's more than just a saying. I guess in those 2 years, 4 years total, I found every reason like to not fight, to
Yeah.
take myself farther and farther and farther away from my goals. And I just think that in retrospect, when I do accomplish and set out to do what I want to do, I'll look back and I'll appreciate those years because they weren't the best years of my life at all.
Yeah. Were you still training or did you?
I've never not trained.
Hmm.
But the training's different when you have a fight camp. You
Yeah.
level up more, in my opinion, when you have a fight camp. But then again, there's people who have great work ethics, and I've been that person before. But like when how do I say this? When you're always training, you can take fights whenever.
Hmm.
So I am training, but I'm not training like I should be.
Yeah.
And until recently, I think I did since August 1st, and I'll get into this. This is a huge part of who I am today, but like August 1st to December 19th, the last fight I took, that was probably the most I ever trained in my whole career. And probably more than like like a calendar year. I put a crazy amount of work into it. I document every hour that I trained, and I hit a crazy amount.
All right, well, let's talk about that. 2020 has been weird for a lot of people. Quarantine kind of put everybody in a state of worry, but the UFC, I give the UFC specifically so much respect for the amount of work that Dana White and that organization put in while everybody else was out of commission. And but some fighters, they were having a hard time training, couldn't get fights, while other people were thriving.
Yeah.
2020, you said, really shaped the person that you are today. Elaborate a little bit on that.
I want to start off by saying I love what the UFC did, but the people who laid that foundation was the regional circuit. I mean, at least it's to Florida, at least. Combat Night. They had their first event, and I think they did it late March. No
Mm.
crowd. They had a professional card. It was really good too, especially in a time where all sports was frozen. Essentially, there
Hmm.
was literally no sports, and I think the UFC was still figuring out we have to meet a certain TV rating. Like we have to meet this, and they took 2 months off because of COVID. But uh, Combat Night, they set the groundwork. So I
They set
absolutely
the standard. Yeah.
they set the standard, and that's where I won the belt. So and I don't know. We're gonna get into it, but the UFC and brain fart. uh, 2020 for me
Yes.
was, like I said, the best year of my life, but it was the latter like 3 4 months that made it, and it's just not how you start; it's how you finish. Because to be completely honest, I was struggling for about a year and a half, 2 years. Mentally, relationally, emotionally, physically. I was out of shape, so I wasn't even close to taking a fight or even thinking about it. I've lined up fights, didn't have the work ethic to go through with taking it,
Hmm.
and then pulled out. It just nothing lined up. And COVID, I'm not blaming COVID, but it just all the bad habits that I was constantly doing, it was easier to do while sitting at home.
Yeah, most definitely.
There was no motivation to work out. I was like, okay, we're gonna go into, it's gonna be every man for himself at some point. Got to make sure I'm strapped, protect my people. I'm gonna eat like crap because it's not gonna be available, and we're gonna go into a big state of decay or something.
Hmm.
It was just a weird time, and
So you're kind of like digging yourself into depression.
yeah. And my coach, shout out to Julian Williams, my head coach at Fusion Excel. He saw me from a distance, like I was just using social media because like that's the only way you can connect with people, especially everyone, sitting at home. I was just posting old videos and random videos and just content, but like I don't know. I don't know if it was like a cry for help, but he just like, dude, you're getting fat. We need to come train. What are you doing today at 4? And I wasn't gonna say no to him. I wasn't gonna say no to my head coach. So I'm like, okay, I'll be there. So we trained, and we trained. We had a few garage sessions over quarantine. Definitely got better as a martial artist, but the physique was still terrible. Like
Yeah.
man, and this is part of the story, but like I got up to 213 pounds, late July, early August. Late July. That's where the darkest was. It's just I didn't like who I was. I was taking pictures and like selfies or whatever, and I'd look at the picture and I wouldn't even recognize that person. It's really like at that point I'm just like I would never post that. So I wasn't
Yeah.
putting pictures of myself. Like I just it was very unhealthy. And then a miss of it, in the like during a breakup as well. I was going through a breakup. Um, Amazing girl. Can't say anything bad about her. I'm not gonna, sulk. I'm not gonna be sad that things didn't work out. It didn't happen the way it couldn't have happened any other way because it didn't. So I got to move on. And it's a
Hmm.
story that I've wrote, and it's part of my growth. And I wish her nothing but the best. Like I said, amazing girl. I've literally nothing bad to say. But because I wasn't ready, it didn't work.
Yeah.
And August 1st, we're entering August 1st. I'm sitting there, single, finding a place to live to continue to chase this dream in Orlando. because she kept the apartment, and none of my clothes fit. Uh, I just was just in a bad place. I was 213 pounds, the highest I've ever been, and the only thing that made sense to me was to start training. And
Yeah.
I just made a decision. I'm like, this is who I want to be. This is who I want to become. And I'm going to do everything I can every single day until I reach that. And I'm not even close to him yet. But the pursuit of him is going to be ever eluding me, to be honest. But I like who I'm becoming in the process of chasing him.
Yeah, and when it comes to chasing that dream person that we all think we can be,
Mhm.
does that chase ever stop? Can we ever achieve that person, or do we continue to grow day by day and become better than the person we envisioned in the first place?
I like to think that, and I believe it's a quote. I don't remember who said it, but you're a reflection of your habits. The things that you do is a direct reflection of you. And to anybody out there that's listening, if you think of the best, absolute best version of yourself, that's truly, truly who you are. Um, it's just you have to start acting and doing the things that that person would do.
Hmm. And it
And
starts with sacrifices, man. You can't always have that cheeseburger, or you can't always watch that Netflix movie every night instead of doing other things.
mhm,
It's a matter of sacrificing the things that you don't need and maximizing the time that you're doing the things that you have that you want to do to become a better you.
of course, and I think a good way to put it is instant gratification as opposed to the long term. It's
Yeah,
like, would you like $10 now or 1,000 later? So
exactly.
and another thing, just to kind of touch on it, I think discipline and self-love go hand in hand. I feel like a lot of people kind of struggle with that, but when you're disciplined, when you're keeping promises to yourself, then that's just the biggest admiration you can give to yourself, because you're pouring into yourself and your future self.
Hmm.
And I know a lot of people are struggling, especially with 2020 happening. We can't just blame it on the year. People struggle no matter what. We just all happen to struggle a little bit more last year, and we did it universally. We all felt the same
Yeah.
emotions, feelings, and thoughts. You know, and I just want my mini comeback story to just show that anybody can do it, no matter where you're at in life. And I have friends, who are close. I have friends who are like just casual friends, but like they're all going through something. I don't look down. I don't look down and be like, hey, you know, you can change your circumstance whenever you want, but it really is just that easy. You
Yeah.
just got to decide, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
and I
No,
would love to help everybody. Like my heart is to help and touch everybody. I'll touch all the lives around me, but at the end of the day, there's only so much that I can do.
yes, you got to make the decision to make that change. As much as anybody wants you to change or wants you to be a better you, that individual has to make those sacrifices and put the work in.
Of
And
course.
it's sometimes hard for me to get. Like, for example, my little brother stays with me, right? I'm
Mhm.
5 years older than him. I'm like, hey, man, I did this, this, and this. If you do this at your age, by the time you're my age, you'll kill it. But I got
Mhm.
to understand that everybody does things on their own time in their own way. I cannot force or get mad, when he doesn't want to do what I'm saying. He's his own person. But yeah, like you said, you can help as much people and say the things that you want to say. And as long as you're doing your part, man, you
Of
could
course.
just hope for the best.
I'm focusing on taking leadership roles in different aspects of my life. I feel like I was born to be a leader. I don't think like a follower.
Hmm.
So if there's a job or a task at hand, I would like the help. I wouldn't mind assigning the task to someone. But I've noticed a lot in the last like few months that it really is just up to me. I'm the only one that can do it. So I'm just going to continue to just, no matter how big the task list gets, no matter how many things I have to do in a day, because I try to plan my days the day before. Um, I'm going to get it done, and maybe not right away, but I think I'm trying to be a little bit more accountable, a little more reliable this year, not only to myself but to other people. Like, hey, Mac, we're going to talk on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Here we are.
Yeah. And I appreciate that, man. I
No
know
problem.
people have busy schedules and, we're all living our own lives and have our own shit to do, but you have always been supportive of me and what I'm doing. And
Of
you, like
course.
you said, kept your word. Hey, Wednesday at 3, Wednesday at 3.
Boom. And here we are.
Yes, sir. All right, so I want to talk about your most recent fight. You just fought like what was it, about 3 weeks ago? 2 weeks
Coming
ago?
up on 3 weeks in 3 days. So probably about 20 days ago.
Yeah. So when did you sign up for that fight? I know you said at the end of July, early August, you were 213 pounds, in depression, just went through a heartbreak. How did you get your mind right for this fight? Did you have a training camp? Let me know all the good shit.
I talked to my coach because I always told him like, hey, I'm gonna be in the gym so much you're gonna get annoyed at me. He's
Hmm.
like, okay, sure, you know. And it's hit a few times over our career. He's like, or over me knowing him. This is Julian Williams I'm talking about. But there's been times where he's like, hey, Al, how old are you? Oh, you have time. You have time. Just don't waste too much more, you know? Because like I'd be in the gym training, and then he's always like, when are we gonna fight, man? What are you gonna do? What are you doing? You know? The one time it really hit me, and this is before the breakup, before the darkness, but it's something I think about a lot. He's like, what's up, man? How you been? I'm like, oh, I'm good. He's like, I just want to tell you something. I'm like, yo, what's up? He's like, I'm not, I just want to let you know that I'm disappointed in you. I'm like,
Hmm. The
like,
worst
you
words
mad,
ever.
sad, any of that. He's just like, no, you're good. Hey, you've been here for like a year. You're a nice part of the family, but like, I just expected more out of you. And, at some point I'll stop caring as much. I have to focus on other athletes. He basically said that. It's like,
Hmm.
I'm just disappointed. That's all. I'm like, damn, I kind of hit for a little bit and never registered, but I do think about it a lot. So I think it finally clicked. But August 1st, I just started dedicating myself to growth. So I started trying to read and listen to podcasts again. That's something that has produced a lot of good in my life. And then I dedicated myself to training, minimum 2, 3 hours a day, 2, 3 hour sessions a day, going as hard as I can. And like, it helped me not even get my mind off the breakup. I just didn't have time to think. Like when you're training, when you're like pushing yourself through training, whether it's boxing, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, wrestling, like MMA practices, any of that, you don't have time to think about outside sources. You have to focus on the moment or you're gonna get your ass kicked no matter what.
Hmm.
But if you're not truly like
Mentally there.
if you're not
'Cause-
mentally there,
yeah.
the beatings get worse. You might get injured. I feel like me being cognizant in the middle of a training session has prevented a lot of injuries over the years. Like
Hmm.
obviously I've had nicks and knacks, but like nothing serious, not like a blown ACL or a torn
Torn
shoulder or labrum.
Achilles. Yeah.
It could be so much worse. And an underrated blessing in training is like walking off the mats unscathed. It really is underrated
Yeah.
because one injury you're out of a fight, one injury you're losing momentum.
Hmm. And
So
not only that, you're losing your money. You guys got to eat.
I
And
know.
until you're actually up there making, in the UFC, having maybe after your second contract, that's when you start making some money. So
Fair.
there's a lot on the line that goes into each and every one of these fights.
I've always looked at my amateur platform as that, a platform. I'm not trying to build hype around myself. I think more over the years I'm trying to slowly
Well-rounded more.
that as well, but like slowly just I guess express myself. Like, martial arts for me is an expression at its
Hmm.
highest level. It's a physical athletic expression. We're artists. That's how I look at it. I
Yeah.
bow every time I walk on the mats. I bow every time I walk off because I respect the art. I want to leave my ego behind me when I bow. Like that.
Hmm.
That's just for me. That's why I do it. I do it habitually. But I want to build a platform through my amateur circuit, through my amateur career, which I don't want it to be much longer. I have a lot of work to do, but pro is on the horizon, absolutely. By the time I turned pro, my goal was always the first 5 pro fights. You want me on your card? Give me the money, and I will sell the tickets. I will bring the eyes. I
Hmm.
would like to think that I was made in this sport. I was made for the sport, and I don't want to just be like, oh hey, did you catch that Mikey Conlon guy's fight? I want it to be like, yo, Mikey
Did you?
Conlon's on this card. Why is he not
Yes.
main event? Or Mikey Conlon's on this card, and I want the slogan to be not the main event, but the main attraction, and then maybe main event, main attraction.
Hmm.
My last fight was my first main event, and we'll get into that in a second. But I mean, I want the eyes. I want all the eyes, and I tried different methods of creating those eyes, and I've done it, but like it's just not me. Like me being a jerk at weigh-ins and talking trash on social media, like I control a little bit, but like being like I've had fights where I was like bullying my future opponents, like tagging them, like give me hand over the belt type of thing. Just kind of cringy, I guess. But
Hmm.
they paid attention. It would backfire if I got like finished.
Yeah.
That's the risk you play. But um,
High
you
risk, high reward.
and I was explaining this to a friend the other day. The people have to give a fuck that you're fighting.
Yes.
Like you can be a good fighter, and there are many good fighters out there who gain fans based off their fighting skill. But as you can see, the ones who have the fighting skill and the charisma and the personality and the prowess, those guys get paid.
And those are the guys you don't remember.
And exactly.
I mean, don't forget. My bad.
I mean, there's few people who can do it the humble martial artist way, and that's freaking GSP, maybe Anderson Silva. You know, just OG legends. But like coming up in the sport today, closed mouths don't get fed, and that's like
exactly. You got to talk your shit. That's your selling point, like you're saying.
I don't even want to talk shit. Like I don't care to. Unless if I have
good shit or shit talking.
Yeah. So like if I have an opponent who's like coming after me, my roast game is ready. I'm good. Yeah. But I don't want to approach it like that. I'd rather not.
I see what you're doing. You're building your platform like Instagram, for an example.
Yeah.
If you have 50,000 Instagram followers and you're posting highlights and you have a fight coming up, a lot of those people are probably going to tune in and watch you fight.
Yeah. So,
is that kind of like the lane in the platform that you're trying to build? Is social media?
Anyone else who's focusing and going 100% on anything else is like wasting their time. Twitter is blah. Facebook, you can only go so far.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram's so simple, the videos and pictures.
Yes.
Those are like I'm an aesthetic. I'm a storyteller. Like not a storyteller. I like to read stories. Like the pictures and the videos, those tell a story. The caption could be extra, you know, or the caption could be descriptive. I just think that Instagram's a huge tool. It's very underutilized in businesses and MMA. You're your own business. You're your own brand.
Yes.
You know. Some people don't know how to manage themselves, and sometimes people get the wrong management to manage them, which I'm excited for when I turn pro, because I don't think like these other athletes, and I'll show that.
Yeah, but, exactly.
You are your own brand, and like I said, the goal in this, the money is the goal, but so is the platform. I want a huge platform. I want a lot of money as well, because there's a lot of things I want to do for the world and for the community, and I can't do that with my current income, you know?
Yeah. You're talking about building a platform, and you've brought up, anti-bullying a few times. So I could see your passion and your tone of voice when you bring that up. So yeah, having that platform to be heard is very, very powerful these days.
Mm-hmm. I just think that, we're all here for an extended amount of time, everyone on earth. If we're not doing things that we can to help other people, if we're not making the world a better place while we're here, we're just wasting our time.
Yes.
And there's not a lot many people that get that.
Mm-hmm.
Never will, probably. And that's fine.
Hey, man, it's up to people like yourself to really make a difference then, because you're 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000 to be able to make a difference in other people's lives. There's, like you said, there's not really that many.
Like I don't ever shit on any other professions. I absolutely think I can succeed in whatever I choose to do. I just don't see the fulfillment, and I just don't see the income to do what I want to do in life while I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Like let's just, for example, I'm not even going to throw any professions out there, but let's just say that I make $50,000 a year, and maybe after like 5-10 years it increases, and everything goes up. I get my own house, this and that. Like everything goes as everyone else does, essentially, right? There's no way I'm going to be able to start a charity. There's no way I'm going to be able to donate in huge amounts. Obviously you can still do that at lower scales, but like, why aim low at anything you do?
Exactly. You only get one shot at this thing called life, and you might as well shoot for the stars.
And nothing surprises me anymore. Just about life, like, I don't know. Anything can happen. It's so unpredictable and uncertain that I don't stress about the future. I try to create it. We're all creators. We're all put on this earth to be creators.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think, and I lost sight of this for a long time, but I mean, I like to think that I'm in total control of my life.
Yeah.
More than I would know. And it just shows that, like, I literally, like a light switch, I completely changed my circumstances August 1st. We're going to talk about this juicy fight that we just had, 2-3 weeks ago. But I documented, and this is a humble brag, but like I put close to 300 hours in that August 1st to 200, to December 19th, that fight camp.
Mm-hmm.
And there's probably some sessions that I didn't even count, because I was like, that wasn't an hour. Because it's a session if it's an hour long. I don't like to document otherwise. But for me, it's like any self-doubt I have fight day or in the locker room, 280 hours, almost 300 hours.
You do this. Yeah, you do this.
Like, there's no way he did this.
Yeah.
There's no way. But that's just that just kind of poured into the mentality. We got announced about 40 days, or not announced. I got a notification of an opponent. Actually, this is how it happened. I'm just gonna break it down. So I was thinking about a fight. There's two different promotions. It was just honestly whoever offered one first.
Now, when was this? Kind of time frame.
Late October.
Okay. So August, September, October, almost 3 months have gone by.
Yeah, I
Have
lost
you,
30 pounds at that point. I'm
how much?
180. I lost
30
30
pounds?
pounds at that point.
Okay.
I'm like 180. I'm feeling good. All of my old clothes fit again. It's a brand new wardrobe. I'm feeling great. You know, it's just life's good. And then I'm like, I'm gonna put this hard work to work.
Yeah.
So I started reaching out to my coach, like, hey, let's fight. I started talking to promotions. Where it really happened was there was a post on Facebook, and the post was like looking for a potential 155 title shot for a game opponent, potential. And my teammate Lucas Alexander, and this is just like a huge part of my fight camp now. Lucas means a lot to me, one of my best friends. He tagged me, and I'm like, oh, I commented on it. I'm like, I'm not gonna not respond. So I commented on it. I'm like, hey guys, I absolutely do not deserve a title fight, especially coming off a skid, but I'm absolutely down to throw hands. Thank you ahead of time. And then the promoter messaged me, is like, here's the opponent, Corey Taylor, 4-0. I'm like,
Oh, shit.
absolutely. That was my answer. I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah. So by this time in October, you're fucking there, man. You've been putting in the work, putting in the time. You obviously dug yourself out of that depression that you were in, and you're ready to go to war.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I fought 3 undefeated fighters before. I've beaten 2 of the 3. And it's a challenge. Take that O. They'll have to think about me. They got 1 solo loss. That's me.
Yeah.
But this guy was 4-0, 4 finishes. That's not a very enticing fight for a lot of people.
Oh, hell no. Especially coming off a 2-year layoff.
2-year layoff, 2 decisions in a row. But I mean, I don't let the losses beat me up. Minus the second one that I told you, the second fight. That wasn't close. That one wasn't close. I only won 1 round. My last 2 fights before this prior one, so my 2-fight losing streak, my only streak that I ever want to freaking ever experience ever again.
Yeah, one of them was a split decision at that, yeah?
Yeah, I thought they both were, to be honest.
Yeah.
But man, I got a rematch with the kid that I knocked out, and then he beat me in the second fight. He out-grappled me. Good too. He's good. There was growth between both fights, but I mean, I could have done a little bit more. And same thing with the last fight. Like the game plan I chose, could have done a little bit more. And in this game, it's a game of. I used to think it was a game of inches. It's a game of centimeters. A punch here,
sure.
A kick there, a takedown here. I could be I like to think 6-1, 7-0. But my record's sitting at 4-3 right now, which doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who cares? Since you are amateurs, like, who cares? It's all experience at the end of the day.
Here's my thing. Nobody's whooped me. Nobody whooped me.
Yeah, you've never got submitted. You've never got knocked out. And like I said, man, that's a lot of respect. You've been in a lot of fights that went to decisions. So to be able to stand in the octagon one-on-one with another person and say, you cannot knock me out and you cannot submit me.
I was only rocked
talking rights.
Exactly. I was only rocked ever once, and then I handled that well. I got rocked with an overhand off of a reset because I guess I kicked him in the nuts. This is my 5th fight or 6th fight. This is the one before the 2-year layoff into this year. I low kicked him, which he's like, oh, it was in my nuts. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. And he's like, okay, now we're good. And then like we reset, jab, overhand, rocked me. I'm like, circumstantial, but he did that. I was rocked. I'm like, whoa. And then he threw like a head kick. I blocked it, and then I recovered. I was like, whew. I like talked myself out of it. But that kid was good too. Kid's good. Yeah. Everyone that I fought minus 2 people. I was just thinking about this the other night. I fought 6 different opponents, and 4 of them became champs, or I've had multiple belts.
And that's badass. You're getting very good experience in your amateur career then.
I've literally had nothing but tough fights. Every single person that I've fought is skilled or a specialist, if that makes sense. So like,
oh, it does.
Either they're good at really good at jiu-jitsu, or they're a knockout artist.
Yeah.
And I had to figure out a way to beat them, and I did for the most part.
No, man, it's like you said, a game of centimeters, and it's all about chess, man.
Yeah. I wonder what's the next step from chess. I want to reach that. Whatever that board game is. It's probably Magic. You Magic the Gathering. But I don't know how to play those.
So let's
But
talk about your most recent fight. Can you
yeah.
explain your fight? Did you have a camp?
I had a camp.
How
So I
long
got
was
the
it?
fight. I got the fight. It was about 40, 45 days long.
Okay, so about six
Maybe
weeks.
about 6 weeks. And the same guy that tagged me in that post, Lucas Alexander, he's a now 5-2 pro. We were training together, and he pushed me. He's another level of striking, and he's a good
Mhm.
martial artist as well. He's good everywhere, but his level is or his striking is next level. So like him being my like main training partner for that, and I promise you, like pay attention to this kid, Lucas Alexander. He's 1 or 2 fights away from a contender series or a short notice UFC, and he's absolutely ready. And he's only gonna get better. But he was my main training partner for this camp, and his fight was a week before mine. He is a professional, so his was December 12th. Mine was December 19th, and we were both gifted. We were both main events,
Hmm.
so it was just kind of cool to close out the year with him and to go to where to go from where I was to where I finished. It's just that's a comeback story, and anybody can do it, but nobody can do it like me. I promise that.
Shit, man. Seeing the pictures just of the transformation of your body, that's inspiring in itself.
Yeah, yeah, a long way. That's actually like 60 pounds difference between the each other.
Yeah, man, that's going from I got a big ass belly and I like to eat ice cream and shit like that to I'm very disciplined and I'm here to take some heads off.
Yeah, tofu, grape nuts, and oatmeal. Just kidding.
It's so miserable, man. When right
Yeah.
before you got on, I had my shake. I just put
Uh,
egg whites, bland oats, and
bland
blueberries,
oats.
and I blend that shit up and drink it.
But no, man, it's just the transformation. Like he helped me a lot. The fight camp was hard. I had injuries. I had things come up. There's weeks where I couldn't train. Like
Yeah.
I mean, there was weeks. I think I took 1 week off because I hurt my knee really bad, and then another week was still that knee not recovering. So I
Mhm.
like picked my classes to go to as a
So
coach.
can you kind of describe your training camp? What is a normal day to day of training camp for fight preparation?
I was doing 2 a days. So um, every day I train a minimum of 2 to 3 hours.
Hmm.
But some days, and I had to listen to my body, but some days I would train 4 to 5. So I'd stay in the morning or get there early and put in an extra hour.
Hmm.
But I'd stay for the morning class, which would be on Mondays. Coach Julian has like a striking, like boxing slash Muay Thai class that he has. And then right after that is MMA sparring on Monday mornings. And
Okay.
then after that is gi jiu-jitsu.
What's sparring kind of like? You guys put in headgear? How many rounds are you doing? Are you
MMA
going really
gloves,
light?
8-ounce gloves or 6-ounce gloves. Sorry. So the muffin top gloves.
Hmm.
You don't want to hurt your partners, even though I wouldn't care. I don't care about getting hit by the smaller gloves because that's what we're going to get hit by anyways. But to
Hmm.
protect your teammates, people use the smaller, the muffin tops. But it's shin guards. Um, I don't ever wear headgear. I don't ever want to get used to that
Hmm.
unless I don't know. I don't see the use for it. Sounds dumb, but we don't fight with headgear on. So
Yeah, exactly. You want to train as you fight.
I mean, in the amateur circuit, kickboxing and boxing and Muay Thai, they do put on headgear, and that's something I want to do this year. I want to literally become a martial artist. I want to do everything. I do
Hmm.
a ton of jujitsu tournaments, a ton of jujitsu fights, super fights. So, but no, so it's small gloves, and coach gives you either a rotation of people or you get one person for 3 rounds and you have to win the fight.
Hmm.
And closer to the fight date, he makes you walk out with walkout music, puts the Vaseline on your face, emulate the walk to the cage. So by the time I went to the cage, I already walked it.
Yeah, you've done it already.
The only thing that was new with this walkout is that I played a different song like last second. Like I picked my song that was completely different, and usually I pick like a kill, like I'm ready to go out there, like what's up, just hype
Hmm.
myself up, hype the crowd up, dark music sometimes, not like not like screamo, but like I mean, if you ever listen to Suicide Boys, they're not like the most uppity. They're like make you want to work out,
Yeah.
make you want to thug it out,
Yeah, make you get up and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that. There's MMA Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. There's boxing Tuesday and Thursday night, and I spar on Wednesday. So I spar Monday morning MMA, and I spar Wednesday night boxing at Technique Boxing. That's my boxing coach, Coach JT. And then the big sparring day is Saturdays. It's boxing, kickboxing, and MMA rounds, which is like MMA grappling rounds. But those are intense. You get a lot of looks, a lot of high-level guys, a lot of UFC fighters come there for it. And Fridays are just jiu-jitsu. There's really nothing at night. So I guess that's the only pocket of time where like I don't have any like responsibility to be anywhere. So Friday night would be like, you can kind of get away with not training. But every other night, like I'm training. And boxing and jiu-jitsu on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu or on Monday, Wednesday nights. So I'm trying to hit like 3-4 classes a day. So sometimes I'll sleep in the gym, I'll nap, or I'll read a book, or I'll go to Starbucks and read a book and just sip on coffee all day. So I stay up and then go back to training. I stay in the area because I live 30 minutes away. So
making that drive back and forth, that adds up.
There's no way I'd drive 2 hours a day. I mean, I'd rather just nap at the gym,
Hell yeah.
So that's how I was spending my time. And then me and Lucas would do that together. We just hang out at the gym and then train hard at night.
Man, it's great to have that type of training partner to go through battle with you or go through the preparation with you, especially since you guys were fighting around the same time too. It you could constantly push each other physically, mentally, and hey man, what are you eating? I kind of thrive on competition. I try not to let it get the best of me, but it's got to be the same for you guys. Maybe not trying to one up each other, but more like, let's do this together. Let's make sure we're at the best of the best that we could be.
Yeah. Like Lucas held me accountable, and it kind of felt like he was another coach. He's like, what are you eating? Why are you eating like shit? What are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And like, I would always be like, hey, what's your weight at? Like when I'm cutting weight, that's one of the worst things you can ask. But like, he's like, hey, what's your weight at? Are you close? And like, he's the only person that I didn't mind asking because he's been there every step of the way for the fight, But like, there's casuals, not casuals, but like, there's going to be people who ask you, hey, what's your weight at? So I started like, it was annoying. I started telling people like, dude, honestly, I'm like 180 right now. I got to be 155 by Friday. I don't know. I'm going to make it. I'll figure it out though. And I just started like fucking with people. Like, it's none of your business. If I'm close to weight, this conversation doesn't change. If I'm far from weight, this conversation doesn't change. Why do you care what my weight is? There should be like a rule book or an etiquette for like, let's just say I'm cutting weight and I fight Friday, right? Don't ask me, are you ready? Don't ask me, are you afraid? Don't ask me, are you nervous? You know what I mean? Like, yes, I'm ready. I put hours and hours and so much time into, I got to protect myself. This is my body, this is my brain. Yes, I'm ready. Am I nervous? Fuck yeah, we all are. Like every single person. Like it's not going to go away ever. And I realize that like I have teammates who are one fight away from the UFC, 5-0, 5-0, 5 finishes. I have guys who are like double, triple champions under, combat night, who are now like undefeated pros as well. And we just all sat together. I sat in a circle with them and we are just, after practice, shooting the shit. And they're just like, yo, I'm terrified. That walkout or that locker room. Oh my God. And I'm just like, man, I haven't felt that in years, I haven't been terrified in years. I can't wait to feel it, I guess. But it doesn't go away. But I can't wait to get into what my locker room experience is like for this fight because everything was
Tell me, man, go for it.
What was really cool about this was that I thought I was going to drive up to Jacksonville with one of my good friends, Tyler, and he sat in the sauna for me for the last few pounds. Like that was really nice of him. And then he drove my car, drove me everywhere. Like he was ready to drive us to Jacksonville. And then one of my other teammates, Donovan, had a tour bus.
Mm-hmm.
He had a tour bus. So we took a tour bus to weigh-ins. And it was
That's pretty badass.
Yeah. So I was lucky and we kept the tour bus for the whole weekend. There, back, to the fight, and back. So we had a tour bus. It was freaking so cool. That definitely added to the experience. We felt like celebrities. We're walking out to weigh-ins in a tour bus.
Yeah.
In his hometown, he's got to look at that. We're in and out. We didn't even stay for everything. We're like, oh, weighed in, face off, dip. It was gangster. It was super gangster.
Yeah, man. That is pretty badass.
Then we went home, and it's just four different emotions. Like we're going there, and I'm like, dude, I'm dying. I'm dehydrated. I'm starving. it hurts to sit down because of how dehydrated I am, that my tailbone was like touching, and like it hurt to sit. I had to like sit sideways to not sit on my tailbone.
Yeah.
And I just think that I could have prepared the water cut better. And that's just something to think about next time.
Next time, yeah, you always learn something new.
'Cause it was absolutely a hard cut. I was suffering. The fact that I can eat whatever I want now is like a dream come true. You
Yeah,
know?
I can imagine.
But yeah, on the way back, we're all hydrating. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. I'm sure you know who Michael Chandler is.
Yes, I do.
I messaged him a year or two ago, and I'm like, hey, post-fight meal, what's your go-to? And he said it to me. He's like, chicken, rice, and veggies. So I meal prepped 2 sets of chicken, rice, and veggies, and I was just so ready to eat it on the way home.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to keep it clean. You know, I didn't want to eat anything bad, even though I had a cookie the night before.
A cookie.
Yeah. But the day of the fight, I didn't expect to be home. I didn't expect to be here and sleep in my own bed, you know? So that was new. So I kind of like fight day. I wake up and I'm just like, huh. You know, I look at my setup, you know, I got the laptop, the TV, there's a TV up there. And I'm just like, man, I got to fight in 12 hours, you know, like I'm just hanging out. This is kind of a cool day, you know, and I'm like playing games. I'm looking at my friend's streams because I do the whole Twitch streaming, you know, gaming thing. It's super nerdy, but like I play a little bit of video games, a little bit of COD. And I have friends like, don't you have a fight today? I'm like,
hey,
yeah.
You got to do something to keep yourself occupied and keep your mind busy, yeah. I'm assuming.
So we head to the venue and back in the tour bus. Oh man, we had to drive.
Celebrity status for real, definitely.
Yeah, that was really cool, man. But on the way there, we're all just kind of hanging out. Like, it's gonna be a good night, guys. You know, business trip. That's what I'm saying. It's a business trip. We're gonna remember this night for the rest of our lives, whatever. And then everyone handles the anxiety differently. For me, it's like I kept on looking at the clock. I'm like, okay, it takes 2 hours to get to Jacksonville. I have 2 hours. Okay. And I kept on like looking at the clock. These guys went to go sleep because I'm sure that they had to deal with it their own way, put their music in, kind of relaxed, something. And I was the same way. I took a nap too, but I kept on looking at my phone. I'm like, okay, it takes, oh my God, we're like 5 minutes away. We're like 10 minutes away, you know? And then we finally get there. We parked the tour bus. It was at this Jacksonville Sportsplex. And we just walk in. We just walk in, we get ready. Weirdly, so my teammates, they cross-train, but I guess they're more, how do I say this? I'm at Fusion Excel. They train at Fusion Excel sometimes, but they mainly train at ATT Longwood. So they're like teammates in a way, but they cross-train. So like that's their home gym.
Yeah.
They put us in other locker rooms. I had a locker room by myself because I was in their locker room, and then my opponent comes up to me, hey man, what's up? Good to see you. Hey, you might be in the other locker room if you want to look at the list. But like, hey, let's have fun tonight. I'm like, dude, we're gonna blow the roof off this motherfucker. You know, the guy was super classy. Honestly, this is probably one of my favorite opponents. You know, he's just gent. You know, he was nice. You know, I can't say enough nice things about this guy. And he was game. We had a great fight. And we'll get into that. But I sat in my locker room just bored, just kind of, you know, swiping Tinder or whatever. Jacksonville girls, no thank you, to be honest. I wasn't biting any bait. But I had to wait for my coaches to get there. I wasn't sure when. I knew they would, but it was nice. It was refreshing. I had my strength and conditioning coach, my boxing coach, and my MMA coach, my head coach, Julian Williams, in there. So that was nice. We all got to wear matching white shirts, you know, because I had my sponsor in the background, created some nice fight gear. I just kind of hung out in the background or in the back room. And normally when I'm sitting in the locker room, these are the emotions I've gone through my first 6 fights for the most part, for pretty much every fight. I'm pacing back and forth. I have to, because in my head, it's like, why do I choose to do this? Why do I choose to do this? I can be anything else. This is, you know, I'm an idiot, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like up. I'm like, you know, fuck this guy. I'm gonna whoop him. And then I was like, wait, I might get hurt. Cause like somebody will walk into the back room, they'll walk into the locker room and you'll see like somebody who's like fucked up in the face. They just got their ass whooped, bloody, whatever. And then like, there's 2 ways to think. And back then I used to be like, oh God, okay. All right. I'm fight number 8. You know, like I would overthink it. Now it's like, oh, that guy got fucked up. Ain't gonna happen to me.
Yeah, it sucks for him.
It ain't gonna happen to me. But I was just, the only way I can describe this experience, because I'll finish what I was saying, but my last fight was one of the biggest mind fucks. This was like 2018, you know, the one before the 2-year layoff. I'm pacing back and forth in the locker room. And I don't care what people think about me. I need this for me.
Yeah.
Inside, I'm like nervous and I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to do this. But outside, I'm like, I need this. And I sound crazy, but I'm chanting. I'm just like, fuck you, pussy. Let's go. I'm about to whoop your ass. Like I'm saying it out loud, like pacing back and forth with my music on, and people are probably looking at me like he's crazy, but they don't get it. Like I needed to do that at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm about to fuck you up. You ain't man enough to fuck with me. I'm a champion. I'm just saying things out loud, but I need that. That's for me. People think. But this time, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I focused. This whole fight camp was just so hard. I thought about the kid a lot, how the fight would go, the good and the bad. There wasn't very much bad that I thought about that he can produce for me, but I had to address it. I would have trouble sleeping sometimes, wake up and then have to think about the fight. Sometimes I would dream about the fight. It consumed me for for the 40 days.
Yeah.
But when I got in that locker room and I was telling myself this, how everyone was sleeping in the back, kind of like getting in the zone. I was telling myself like, I need to get ahead of my brain because I know it's going to go a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need to do something. I need to try to calm myself. And I don't know what I did. I don't know what triggered it, but and I wouldn't mind feeling this again. I don't like the anxiety. No one likes the anxiety, but I was cold. I was just, I'm just looking at my phone, looking in the mirror, a little bit of shadow boxing, this and that. I wasn't very warm, and it was actually cold as well. I wasn't very, because it's closer to Georgia. I wasn't very like warmed up. I mean, I hit a little bit of mitts, not enough to really break a sweat. Some people really sweat and then walk out. I was barely sweating. I was just kind of hanging out. And then I had two of my teammates fight that night. One, his name's Alejandro. He won by a head kick, brutal head kick. That was awesome. That was inspiring. And then the co-main event is a teammate of mine. He's 10-0. His name's Donovan Hendrick. I think he's four finishes in the last 5 months. The kid's a savage. I would like to fight as much as him. Like he's very good, very, very good. And he's fighting at the end of the month as well in Orlando. So
and both of those guys are amateurs.
Yeah. So 11-0, and this guy goes pro. So that's awesome. But he won his fight. It was the co-main event. He won his fight in 20 seconds. Like I was on deck watching him, watching from a distance, and it was 20 seconds. And it was just like that. Mikey, you're up. So I was telling myself, I'm like, okay. But I kept it just, whatever, just blank.
Yeah.
And then it's like, in our main event, he walked out first, which I didn't get because he's the hometown kid. I thought I'd walk out, first. But he walked out first, which is cool. And they started my song for him. He was confused. But yeah, then they changed it. But I walked out to a Kid Cudi song, and like I picked a relaxing song. It wasn't like a kill song. It was more of like a, I'm happy to be here. I'm truly alive. Like, it was just such a happy song. I'm dancing. I have my Irish flag. I'm dancing, singing. The crowd was so quiet. I heard everything. I heard every lyric, So I'm just dancing, blah, blah, blah. I handed my flag over. The only reason I brought the Irish flag is because he's Filipino as well. I'm Irish and Filipino.
Oh, so you just wanted to be that differ.
Yeah. I mean, we both have like a matching tattoo. The kid was really cool. I'm telling you, like we have a face-off picture, and it's like both of us have the Filipino sun on our arm. Like looking at
Civil War. That's how they should have built it up. Civil War.
Right. But it was different, man. Like I was calm.
Yeah.
Face to face. I see him across the cage. He's like, and I know he's doing that for him. Mm-hmm. He's not trying to scare me. He's doing that to like maintain his,
Because you've done that many of times.
Of course. I paced back and forth and looked at an opponent. I'm like, look in my eyes. I'm just like, let's go. I'm like, look in my eyes. Like just fucking, I don't know, wild. I used to be wild. At weigh-ins, I'd talk crap, blah, 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 be in their face. Like I didn't have to do this this time. I don't want to be that anymore, But I was calm. I'm just like glove touch. And then I think the only downside to that, when I didn't have to feel all that anxiety, but it took a second to be like, oh shit, we're fighting.
Yeah, this is it.
And that oh shit was he slammed me. He picked me up and slammed me. He literally, this kid's such a savage, and I really do think he can make a really, really good career for himself. But like he literally did everything he game planned for. Like I had an idea of what he wanted to do based off of studying one fight. All I had was one fight to base off of.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that he fought was 1-11 when they fought. So like, I was like, this guy's a scrub. I'm not a scrub. Like I'm about to tune this kid up. I'm about to do my game plan. Mm-hmm. And I literally did none of it. He was so, efficient at walking me down, putting me on the fence, and then going for the takedown. That's how we spent the fight. And then he like slammed me in the first round. I was very fortunate to, I'm not terrible at jiu-jitsu. I actually really like jiu-jitsu. I was lucky enough to sweep him, get on top, stay on top.
Mm-hmm.
And I had his back.
After that first slam.
Yeah. That slam actually helped me. I mean, it looked cool for him. Got a cool picture out of it, but like.
Got you in position to take advantage.
I spent the rest of the round on top of him. Top mount, took his back. And I was hitting him with hard shots. I was going same side arm, and I was hammer fisting the side of his head and punching him, this and that. And like I was in my corner, so my corner was like, he doesn't like that. He's gonna quit soon. You got to flatten him out. So flatten him out is probably the worst position in MMA. So when you have someone's back, it's shooting your hips into them and making their legs like do like they're like doing
straighten.
A super.
Yeah.
That's the worst place because you're right here, and they're punching the side of your head. You don't see where the punches are coming from. They can choke you out.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to get to that, and I couldn't. For the life of me, I couldn't. And I was listening to my corner, and I'm like, okay, I'm trying, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
And I truly think that if I did, that's a position I wouldn't give back. That would have been a finishing position.
Mm-hmm.
But because I didn't, the fight went on. But that's how the first round ended. And every time I got up, I would make sure. I always make sure to see how what their body language is like after they walk to their corner. And a lot of people, when I fight them, they walk back to the corner like exhausted or like fuck, like, oh my gosh, this guy is ruthless right now,
Yeah.
And I guess that's a good thing, But we go to the second round, dude. I couldn't tell you much about the second round. I landed an uppercut. That's what I remember. And then I ended up being on top. I mounted him again, couldn't finish. And then the third round, that's the juiciest round, to be honest. I mean, I think it's because of my lack of memory of the second round. I hope that they release, I hope that they release footage soon, and I think they will. But the third round, it was good. He's, like I said, super respectful. I think he's talented. He's like, what's up, man? You want to hug? Blah, blah, blah. We hug, and then we go again. And that's probably the most striking we had because, like I said, everything was on the fence.
Yeah.
It was him pushing me to the fence, him shooting the takedown, or him clinching me and then going for the takedown. Mm-hmm. So little to no striking. It's a jiu-jitsu fan's dream. Like it's entertaining. It was enough to be fight of the night, which I didn't think I performed well, to be honest. But me not performing well won me a belt, so I'm not going to complain.
You complain too much, right?
Yeah, I'm really hard on myself, and I beat myself up. And this is why, and I'll tell you why in the third round, because the third round was the most eventful one for the reason that the most damage was given. Mm-hmm. So we're striking this and that. He throws a head kick. I pull it back and get out of the way. I throw a head kick. He blocks it and laughs. That was funny. But I shot a takedown on him and took him down. And I'm sitting in his guard, and I'm in his corner. So we're in that side of the fence, right? And his corner goes, armbar, Corey, armbar. We're working for the armbar. I'm like protecting myself, and I look at my opponent, and I look at the corner. I'm like, you guys aren't getting the armbar. I'm sorry. And then the guy on the bottom, he's like, please. He's like holding my head. Please, can I please have it? And I kind of start laughing, this and that. 10, 15 seconds go by. I posture up and I start punching down on him. And like, he's going, is that all you got? Like putting his tongue out. And I just started laughing. I'm like, you motherfucker. I started punching him. And then, I don't know, fast forward another 10, 15 seconds. I felt safe and I was coasting. I was tired. He was tired. I was just relaxing. And then out of nowhere, before you know it, his hips swung so fast. I didn't even have a chance to register what was happening. There was 5 cracks in my arm. It's not even this one, it's this one, but I'm going to let you know. So like from full guard, crack, 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 crack. Like it cracked. Mm-hmm. And I felt it, immediate pain. And in the moment, I'm like, we can't tap now. I already did it. I'm like, so in the moment I thought of Gordon Ryan. I'm not sure if you know who that is.
I don't.
Best jiu-jitsu practitioner in the world, no gi. And he had an armbar put on him in a EBI overtime round by Craig Jones, another high-level grappler, probably number 2 or 3 in the world. He got put in an armbar, and it was deep. So I immediately thought of him in that moment. I'm like, and then he explained himself to why he didn't tap. He was like, I'm not a bitch. Like, So I thought to myself, I'm like, don't be a bitch, don't be a bitch, don't be a bitch. Don't fucking tap, don't fucking tap. And then like I went to my escape. He followed me to another submission, so he chained his submission. And then I escaped from that one. But at that point, my arm was mincemeat.
So you said it cracked 5 times. What exactly was the injury?
It's upon assessment, it was tendon damage in the arm. So this pressure is here to alleviate the injury that is
Up there. Okay.
swollen, and I couldn't use it, and I couldn't move it for a few days. It's been 3 weeks, and it's still feeling it.
Yeah.
But the pain isn't. It's just like a knee. ACL, MCL. It's on the outside and the inside.
Hmm.
So I have limited movement. I certainly cannot throw a punch or keep my hands up right now.
What is the timetable for that injury?
Month and a half. But I'm trying to get ready for March, man. I'm trying to go again.
Yeah.
I'm not so much keeping myself active. I'm taking walks. I'm not really running. I'm limited to weightlifting. I tried to lift the next day and do leg day, but I couldn't move it. I can't hold a bar. I can only do like curls and
leg press and
I was just happy to walk in there because I'm like, I fought yesterday. I don't have to be here right now.
Mm-hmm.
I tried, and it was kind of depressing. I couldn't train. I couldn't train for the last 2 weeks, but I found ways to keep myself busy and to keep my mind. I'm trying to get a lot of things established so that when I do get back into training and pursuing another fight, then I've laid a lot of groundwork. I'm keeping myself, like I said, man, super, super busy. I got a lot of things in the works.
So 2021 is going to be a big year for Mikey Conlon.
I'm planning on a lot. I'm balancing super nerdy. I always call it nerdy, but one of my best friends, Jamie's like, stop calling it nerdy. It's really cool you do that. I'm a Twitch streamer. I'm not the best at it, but I'm slowly building a bigger community. Mm-hmm. I'm meeting a lot of cool people. A lot of people who support me, and people are hanging out with me while I play video games. I'm literally something I do by myself, anyways, for free, but I get to talk to people.
Yes, that's another avenue that I plan on pursuing as well. Is getting on Twitch.
I'm here for you, man. I'm here for you. I offered the same help to my teammate Philly Fresh, and I think he's figuring out it's a lot harder than just doing it. You're not going to become instantly, because you're really good at a game. You're not going to become instantly, you got to
be able to, like we said before, instant gratification and being able to talk your shit. If you could talk good shit or bad shit talking either way, if you could talk good shit and then be good at what you're doing, people will tune in. And it's being able to find that balance between the two.
So, absolutely. So I think this is a good time to plug everything in. With that Twitch streaming, I run a gaming crew as well called Too Easy Gaming. There's about like 15 to 20 members in there. We're creating merch. We're going to be at TwitchCon, and we're going to become a professional sports team. We host tournaments. It's just something else that I can align with my passions. And I'm just trying to work on the marketing for that. I've got marketing people working on the social medias and stuff. So I'm excited about that. I'm coming up with a new logo. Mm-hmm. I'm also dropping a clothing line in the next few weeks. It's called Productive Gents. I can't wait to talk about it. We're revising the mission statement, but it's just, it's all about becoming the best version of yourself and knowing that you're not alone on the way there.
Yeah.
So
whenever you have all that concrete details in place, you could definitely get on the pod again and talk about that.
Of course. I would love to.
Yeah.
I'll start off by saying this is the mood for the year.
I seen that shirt on your Instagram story earlier. That's badass.
Appreciate it, man. It's by any means necessary.
I like that.
And then
I like that.
On the back, it's we can do it the nice way or the lions right there or the hard way type of thing. It's cool, man. We got a lot of cool stuff going. I'm really excited. I feel good. And obviously number one is my athletic career, which is MMA. I would like to fight in March. I would like to debut in boxing. I would like to debut in Muay Thai. I have something scheduled for this weekend, and I have something scheduled for the 22nd. But my body's not letting me right now.
Yeah.
Might have to pull out of both, to be honest. But the 22nd's a huge thing. I might just pop a bunch of pain pills and do it.
Fuck, man, that sucks. That's the limitations of the body.
I know. It's a jiu-jitsu super fight on a big stage. Fight to Win is an organization that does jiu-jitsu matches. And I almost took a jiu-jitsu super fight before this last fight. But if I got injured, then it would have ruined that opportunity. So, but I still honestly would have done it. Think about it like this. Like if you're fighting someone and you find out they win a big super fight, like in a big organization, you found out they won by submission. You got to think about like, oh my gosh, he didn't care.
You got to keep that in the back of their mind. Yeah.
He hasn't been focusing or thinking about me. He just went and submitted someone. He might just go submit me and then he might have to change his game plan. I was ready for that mind game. I was ready for that. Yeah. I was like, I don't care. It's just jiu-jitsu. That guy's not going to submit me. I'm undefeated in jiu-jitsu super fights. I'm not super cocky about it, but like, I feel I'm confident in like my training and in my game.
Yes, most definitely.
So I would have loved to have gone in there, submitted someone, and then my opponent had to think about that. I just
Yeah.
would have another 2 weeks to think about, because he addressed me as a because I watched an interview that he did, and he addressed me as a champion, and he addressed me as a good jujitsu practitioner. But I was just like, damn, little does he know I'm trying to knock him out, because that was the game plan. I wanted
Yeah.
to stand, and I'm like, there's no way he can strike with me, and didn't get to do any of it, pretty much.
It's crazy when you have a whole game plan that you've been working on for 6 weeks and then you get into the fight and it's in a matter of seconds, you're like, holy shit, that game plan goes out the window and I have to adjust on the fly.
But in many ways, like the story of my fight camp was doing everything that I did in the fight. I wanted to stand and knock him out, right? That's what
Hmm.
I wanted to do. That's not what I trained in
You
training.
wanted to knock him out, so were you working on a lot of takedown defense and stuff like that?
A lot of boxing, a lot of Muay Thai. I mean, I like being able to kick and knee people.
Hmm.
Um, but the story of my fight camp was I was finding myself in dominant positions and out grappling people. I wasn't implementing the striking game plan.
Yeah.
So I guess it makes sense that it went down that way, but still wanted to knock him out. And I could have in those dominant positions, but I didn't, game of gain of centimeters. I'm going to, when I'm healthy, I'm going to go and drill hundreds of armbar defenses. I'm literally going to ask someone for their time, and this will never happen again. And I want to get good at armbars now. What the hell? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is bothering me.
I can imagine, man.
It's funny because me and my opponent will talk here and there, and he goes, and then we joke back and forth. Thanks for the fight, dude. You're awesome. This and that. I took a picture with his mom after the fight. Like she was funny. She was like, "Why'd you have to hurt my son?" Blah blah blah. But I messaged him like, "Bro, you really fucked up my arm." He's like, "Dude, I honestly don't feel that bad. You have the belt."
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But no, good dude, good dude. I look forward to the rest of his career. If he beats me in the pros, I'm open for that fight too. He's good. He's
Yeah,
good.
hell yeah. And you've been boosting this guy up the whole time, so he must have really, really been a class act.
He was tough. Yeah, and he was a gentleman too. So he's a cool man. Hopefully we can train together. That'd be really cool. I've
Yeah.
only ever trained with one person I fought, and it took forever to do that because we were always so hostile to each other. Nah, he's a cool
Hey,
dude. So.
it's a lot of ego, I'm sure, that's in the training sessions and I'm the best at this camp and I'm the best at this gym and
Yeah, of
talking your shit. It's a lot of testosterone going around for sure.
course. And it's weird to spar someone that you've previously fought, because it's like now, like you went from trying to knock each other out to now it's
Mhm.
like we're just touching.
Yeah, touching and trying to learn, trying to teach each other.
Weird, super weird.
All right, man. So 2021 is going to be a big year for you. You're dabbling in a lot of different things.
Mhm.
You're in great mental shape. You're recovering from your last fight, but you got gold around your waist. I'm excited to watch you as a fan and what you have going because you have really intrigued me. And whenever you get some footage for the fights, let me know. I want to go back and watch all that shit.
Absolutely. It should be on YouTube, and whenever it's uploaded, I'll post it, and I'll honestly just directly send it to you, and I appreciate that.
Man, hell yeah, I appreciate it. And thanks again. I'm gonna give you this is your time to let the fans know. You mentioned your Twitch earlier, but let them know about your Instagram, your YouTube, whatever you got going. This is your time.
First off, I just want to take the mic and be like, "Where the honey's at?" After I won, that's like one of the last things I said. I'm like, Mikey Conlon 1_ROS on Instagram. Slide in my DMs. That's exactly what I said.
Yeah. Did
I
any
mean,
slide into DMs?
I think I got one. No biggie. Like I said, Tinder was dry in that locker room.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's Jacksonville, man. I've never been, but you're talking your shit about it. So,
uh, Twitch would be twitch.tv/PepperdadAngus. Pepper with an A. You assume what you want out of it. I like hot sauce and I love steak. So, and when you make steak, salt and pepper on every steak. So I'm not wrong.
Hmm.
There's that. Twitter is Mikey Conlon MMA. Snapchat, Mikey Mr. Perfect, and Facebook, I guess, Mikey Conlon, if you want.
All right, right
also,
on.
one more thing, I have something I'm gonna eventually get into as well. I'm a food blogger, super nerdy, but a foodie, professional foodie, and I have a food Instagram called Godly Taste Buds, and we're gonna start making blogs, something like Food Truck Diaries. You know how Brendan Schaub does that, so we're gonna travel Central Florida's best restaurants and make documentaries out of it eventually. Obviously, it's not. It's on the tail end of what I want to do, but I want to do it.
Hey, you
But,
always got to do things that make you happy too, you
Mhm.
know, and food makes everybody happy.
Absolutely. You just
Except
gotta
when you're cutting and you gotta eat fucking bland oatmeal and shit all the time. So,
I
ugh.
think the food is the worst when you're in lockdown. When you're in lockdown, you're eating bad food and you're not working out for the most part. That's what
Mhm.
I was. That's the worst type of food.
What was the
Oh my.
worst thing that you're eating?
Oh wow. Okay, we're about to get really. This is about to be like. This is gonna be like pornographic talk in terms of like food.
Yeah.
Man, I was making a lot of carbonara. I love carbonara, pasta. I ordered stuffed crust pizzas, wings, loaded fries, nachos, tacos, Wendy's, Taco Bell, anything that was in the area. Um, I was getting, I was getting a bunch of microwave things, ovens, pizza and pizza rolls. I was eating a bunch of Oreos. It's just the caloric deficit was astronomical. I was just maybe 2 to 3 thousand calories a day. And then I would chug energy drinks, play Call of Duty, like just unhealthy. And my girlfriend at the time, I could see why she was starting to struggle a little bit because like I was in another world. I was struggling hard as well. I don't know. I in reverse roles, I'd be like, who the fuck is this
Yeah.
guy?
What
What
is
is he
she do
doing?
that? Yeah,
Yeah, like,
exactly.
what is this guy doing? He's like,
Or-
it's like eating to the point of like hating yourself. It's like that's what type of eating it was. It wasn't like, oh, I'm hungry, I'm gonna cook up some chicken and rice. It's more of like butter on this chicken crusted. Let's make garlic fried rice. Like it was just over the top, trying to unlock a new level of loathing. I guess this is eating. So it was so bad. It was so bad.
It sounds so good though. You
And
can only do it in moderation every now and again. If you're eating good 80% of the time and then the other 20% you just go ape shit, that's fine. Just remember to work out in between.
Mac, you don't get it. No one goes ape shit like I do when it comes to bad food. Let me just put it like this. Since the fight, right? I had 24 donuts in 1 week. I had 9 in one day, 12 in 24 hours. I love donuts.
You a Krispy Kreme kind of guy?
There's this place right next to where I live. It's called Donut King and it's open 24/7.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Like
Everybody that's
Belvoir donut.
drunk or up late, you go get you some donuts.
Maple bacon donut. There's toasted coconut, fruity pebbles, Oreo. There's oh man, those guys are dangerous because I went so
Yeah.
long not even knowing where they were. And then I'm like, man,
Mm.
there is a Donut King right around here.
Yeah, let's go get a donut. Ugh.
12.
Oreo donut. I might have to try that one of these days.
But I like Voodoo Donut, and you can't go wrong with the classic Krispy Kreme. That is like
Oh.
the most consistent. That is like the Starbucks of donuts.
Oh,
Has-
yes. Yes.
Like everyone knows what it is. Everyone loves it. If I meet a person that doesn't like it, I don't want them in my life.
What's your go-to at Krispy Kreme? Regular glaze, original, or what do you
That's the
like?
one I've ever tried. I've only ever had regular glaze. I don't know what else they can produce.
Get the chocolate glaze one of these times.
Just try it out,
Yeah. Hey, but anyways, bro, I really appreciate you getting on. And like I told you, I'm one hell of a Buccaneers fan. So I'm going to have to get you back on the pod. Playoffs are coming up on Saturday, man. So
Who do we got first? I forgot.
we are playing the not the Redskins, the Washington football team in the first round. So we should be able to whoop their ass.
I like our chances. Yeah.
Oh, me too, bro. All right, man. That sums it up for another episode of Talk Smack with Mac. Mikey, I appreciate it, man. And I'm sure I'm going to have you on the podcast again.
Cheers to you, brother. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
All right, man.
Let's talk.